your guy from Star Wars Rebels, Freddie Prinze Jr., he made a comment on his podcast that ESPN is hot about the deal, is what he said. And so his quote was that he was talking to a friend who works for Disney, and he said, yo, they better make their money back on this deal. And he said they're hot about it. And I thought that was so funny. And
Yeah,
I'm leading. I wasn't happy with Survivor Series, but I'm kind of like, there's something to this, something to what he's saying that always happens with wrestling.
Yep.
Fox was getting some really strong ratings with WWE, but they just couldn't make money off of it because they couldn't make enough money selling ads on pro wrestling. I'm sure ESPN is having some similar issues with that, but they were, they have the deal with them to help push their new ESPN unlimited service. The problem that I have with his quote is that they are so early in this. And if you remember, this wasn't even supposed to start till WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, they jumped the gun. They got them in early because they're selling this unlimited service. So they had something to sell to subscribers.
Yeah.
And I can imagine that some of the folks at ESPN don't like fake wrestling, but if you know what ESPN stands for, entertainment is the first word in the acronym for ESPN. If you watch their content, Stephen A. Smith and Pat McAfee are doing versions of pro wrestling promos on their shows. So it's not like it doesn't fit, but I can see how people believe that the brand should be bigger than pro wrestling, and pro wrestling is still a little bit on, a little bit ashamed to have pro wrestling on the network or whatever. So I can see that. And there's going to be people inside the company having problems selling, like I said, selling ads for it. I get all of that. I do not buy that ESPN is not happy with this deal yet, because it is so early, and there's so much that they're going to be able to do with WWE. So I'm not saying Freddie Prinze is a liar. I'm sure he's got a buddy at Disney. Freddie Prinze has worked with Disney. He's not a dumb guy. He's a very smart guy. He's also trying to start his own wrestling company, or he tried, and like that whole thing, I guess he said it was a big failure. So it's Freddie talking. He's good at that. He's good at doing that whole stuff. So I can see why someone would say that. But I don't believe that, because immediately all the people who want WWE to fail just jumped on that quote, and I was like, "Come on, guys, come on, let's think this one through a little bit."
I think my boy Freddie Prinze is just trying to get some clicks for his podcast. I get it. I understand what he's trying to do. And who, his buddy at Disney, I mean, he worked, a lot with Star Wars, of course, and who knows? Could have been a cast member at the old at the park. He talked to that someone. Who knows? But good on Freddie, get some his podcast out there, some steam behind it. But I think, like you said, it's too early right now. I think in a year from now, you start hearing these rumblings. I can understand, but that's what happens. You go with those deals, right? And it's a lot of money be thrown around. And they signed it. And
by the way, they're not going to make their money back on the deal.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Like these deals are money losers, but they're trying to get engagement in their product, which you cannot. It's harder to monetize, or it's harder to have quantitative analysis on how much engagement costs. Like it's, they're just trying to get people to engage with their content on their service. And that's why you pay for content like WWE.